Okay, good morning. So we are up to Shin Samach Gimel Halacha Test. We're discussing the halachas of a Lechi and a Mavui and working through this long siman. So Shin Samach Gimel Halacha Test. So says the Mechaber, Bein Sheniris Belitas Halechi Laimdim B'Toicha Mavui Ve'ein Niris Laimdim Machutz. You can have a Lechi which is at the entrance of your Mavui. And sometimes the lechi can be positioned in such a way that it's visible from the inside and not from the outside, or vice versa. So that's what this machaber is talking about. So again, bein sheniris hapelitas halechi, the sort of the projection of the lechi that's just sticking out a little bit. La'imdim b'toicha mavui, it's visible from the inside of the people who are inside the mavui. Ve'ein niris la'imdim b'chutz, but it's not visible for those who are on the outside because it's sort of it's hidden away. And conversely, bein sheniris la'imdim b'chutz, or it can be seen from the outside, neged chalal ha'mavui, opening the opposite the opening of the mavui. Ve'ein niris la'imdim b'fnim, but it can't be seen b'fnim because it's sort of just a continuation of that wall. So if you look at picture, for example, the second picture there, I can't see what number it is, 29. The second picture there. Then it's just a continuation of the wall. So it's actually not that picture. It's not. Yeah, it actually is. Then it's visible from the outside, but it's not visible from the inside because the insiders just see it as a continuation of the wall. But either way, kosher. That is either way, whether it's visible from one side only, it's kosher. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Lamed Aleph. So the first case was where the lechi is visible from those people who are inside, but it's not visible outside. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Kagoin shehemid halechi. For example, that could be possible where you position the lechi rach by letzad arkei shel mavui, where it's on the horizontal of the entrance to the mavui. Now, if you take a look at picture number 6 at the bottom, can you see the under the Sha'at Tzion? You've got various pictures. What he's describing now is picture number 6. So the lechi is going horizontal to the entrance to the mavui. So back to the Mishnah Berurah. Shehemid halechi rachbei letzad arka shel mavui v'lo moshach k'tzei rechaba kima klape chutz. It's not going outwards; it's going across. Elahish v'chudei hachitzen la'ovi kaisel hamavui. You just you position it across sort of the edge of the wall of the mavui. It looks a little bit like you've just increased, you've extended the width of the wall. And from the outside, it doesn't really look like a lechi. But it is visible from the inside. So that's picture 6 at the bottom. If you're on the inside, you can see it, but on the outside, you can't really notice it. Lamed Beis, says the Mishnah Berurah, this is going on the next case, where it's nearest la'imdim b'chutz. It's visible from the outside, but not from those on the inside. Now that is picture 7. So if you're standing on the inside of the Mavi, as you can see picture 7, it's also the picture there at the bottom of footnote 29, where you're on the inside of the Mavi, and you can't really see it because it's just an extension of the Mavi wall. But from the outside, you can see that lechi sticking out. Says Rashi, "Neged chol hamavi kagoyin shenosen kol lechi lachutz hamavi v'chud hapnimi omed etzel ovi hakoisel." And the lechi is now sort of connected to the thickness of the mavui wall. Avolo hemidu b'shavel lisfas ovi hakoisel shel tzad toich hamavi, but it's not flush with the inner part of that wall. It's flush. If you can see in the picture, in both pictures, you can see it actually. It's sort of on. It's only covering half the thickness of the wall, approximately. Because if it was flush with the inside of that wall, then it's just a continuation of the wall. But you've just sort of pushed it to sort of the back side of the wall, on the half the thickness of the wall. You pushed it to the other side, not the inside of the wall, but the outer side of the wall. Then it can be seen from the outside, like he's got in picture number 7. So either way, we say these two of these lechis are going to be kosher. Okay, says the Mishnah Berurah Lamed Gimel. What's this going on? Ve'ein niris la'omdim bifnim, because on the second picture number 7, it's not so visible from those people on the inside. Those people on the inside, ein halechi niris she'ein asui bifnim. So in either way, in both these cases, where it can be seen from the outside and not the inside, or vice versa, we say it is a good lechi, it's kosher. Okay, good. That is the end of the test. Seif Yud. Hirchiku mikaisa shleisha. Now, if he distances the lechi 3 tfachim from the wall of the mavui, or he raises it from the floor, from the grounds 3, posel. Either of those cases, it's posel. Now let's do the Mishnah Berurah on that. Hirchik me'akaisel shleisha afal gav dekva shona b'sivov. Now, we actually did this halacha. This appeared in Sivav. If he puts it too far away from the edge of the wall, it's no good. We now, says the Mishnah Berurah, repeating this halacha to tell me that it's ma'akev, i.e., that even b'diavad, this is not a good lechi. Says the Mishnah Berurah Lamed Hainu, after is balechi asar tefachim, you could have a lechi which is 10 tefach tall. It's just that you've got a gap of 3 tefachim underneath the lechi. That's no good. Why not? Says the Mishnah Berurah, V'atam adifa memechitza shenatula shleish tefachim al. It's no different to a wall which has got a gap of more than 3 tefachim from the ground to psula mishum dav mechitza shagdim baikin, because it's a wall where gedim, little goats, will break through underneath it. Tachteh deleish mechitza. That's not considered a good mechitza. Back to the mechaba. Vim higbiu pachas mishleisha. But if you raise it, but it's less than 3 tefachim, then no problem. Even if the remaining lechi has only 7 and a bit, it's going to be kosher. Why? Says the Mishnah Berurah, mitam lovud. And the lovud tells me that I'm sort of filling up this gap.
Same if you're less than shloisha.
Yes, exactly, true. Yeah, but I think we said it's zivov. Yeah, true, good point. Yeah. So again, just to summarize Sif Yud, what are we saying? That if you've put the lechi more than 3 tefachim away from the wall, no good. Furthermore, if you raise the lechi, even if it's 10 tefachim at all, but you've got a gap of 3 tefachim underneath it, then it's no good. But if the gap is less than 3 tefachim, then Lovet tells me that it's connected and you're okay. And even if the remaining lechi is actually only 7 and a bit tefachim, and it's within 3 tefachim of the ground, that would okay, because Lovet tells me that it joins it to the ground, and it's as if I've got a lechi of 10 tefachim. Okay, Sif Yud Aleph. Afilu also l'shem lechi. Now, even if you make a lechi, and you didn't make it l'shem lechi, Ella shenizdamin leisham me'elov, it just suddenly just appears there. You didn't put it there, and you suddenly realize, hey, that thing over there would count as a good lechi. Kasha. In other words, the chiddush is that you don't need to place the lechi there, hareini mekayim mitzvahs lechi or whatever. You don't need to put it there l'shem lechi. Even if it was there and is damin leisham, that's going to be kosher. So long as you planned on using it as a lechi from Erev Shabbos. But if you didn't plan on using that as a lechi, how so? For example, there was another lechi, and I was going to use that for nafel b'Shabbos, and then that lechi falls down. And someone says, "Well, actually, you've actually got another one there, but because you weren't soimich on it, that would not count as a lechi." But if there was no other lechi there, and suddenly you realize actually there is a lechi there, it's as if you've relied on it because that was the only thing there, and therefore you can rely on it. Okay, good. Says the Mishnah Berurah Lamed Zayin. There was a little projection coming out of the wall of the Mavui, Bereisha at the top, which has the correct dimensions. For example, it has 10 tefachim height. It was put there for whatever reason. Even if you didn't fix it, it was always there. A mechitza which sort of comes by itself is a good mechitza. So too, a lechi which is there by itself is a good lechi. And then we said that you've got to be somech on it from Erev Shabbos. But if you were not somech from Erev Shabbos, for example, there was another lechi there, and that fell down, and then you realize there's a second one, and you can use that one, that's not good enough. So it says Mishnah Berurah Lamed Ches, lechi acher, tahavalu ki'ilu omar, al zeh ani somech v'lo al zeh. It's as if you're saying, I'm going to use lechi number 1, but not that other thing. Lechi number 2. It's as if you've discounted the second Lechi. But if there was only one that was there, then it's as if you've always been somech on it. Even though you didn't expressly say, I'm being somech on this Lechi, then that would be okay. However, if it's if you categorically, expressly said, I'm not being somech on this singular lechi, you never carried in the past based on this lechi's presence. And there was no other lechi. It's not going to help you for next week until you expressly say that this is my lechi, I'm being somech on it, and this will enable me to carry in this mavui. Okay, good. Yud beis. Lechi ha'omed me'elov. You've got a lechi which is just there by itself. You didn't place it there. Afilu somech alav me'er Shabbos. Even if you were somech on it me'er Shabbos, im hamavui rochav yosem mishmeina amas. Now, if this mavui was wider than 8 amas, im halechi beilet l'seicha arba amas, and the lechi now projects more than 4 amas, ein anidin mishum lechi. It's lost its status as a lechi. V'tzorich lechi acher lehatirei, and you need another lechi to set it up. And you've got to put it on the ruach opposite it. And if you want to put it next to it, you've got to make it a little bit thicker than the wall of the mavui, or a little bit thinner. That is clear that you're doing it l'shem lechi. But if it's very clear that you're doing it l'shem lechi, then it would be okay. All right, let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Lechi ha'omed. Shiur devar of kachu. The explanation of all of this is as follows. That which we said in the previous sif, the lechi ha'omed me'ilov v'samchalov mahani, that if you somech on this lechi, it works. That's only if the lechi is not projecting out more than 4 amas. But if it's projecting out more than 4 amas, then it's no longer considered a lechi, because it's got the share of the minimum size of a mavui, which is 4 amas, and it's just got the din, it's got the status, the title of the wall of a mavi. And you need another lechi to be matir it. Unless a very specific situation where the width of the mavi is only 8 amas, then you don't even need another lechi to have an omed kaparetz, because then you've got the omed which is kaparetz, it's equal, and therefore it's as if it's fully enclosed, and therefore you wouldn't even need a lechi. So if the lechi is going to be more than 4 amas, then in this situation it's going to be treated as a wall of the mavi, and therefore it's no good. It will not be treated as a lechi. Because if you put it there, l'shem lechi, that's what the Ramah is saying at the end. If there's no problem with having a very wide lechi of more than 4 amas. It's just that if you didn't designate it as such, then it takes on the status of the wall of a mavi. If you want to put it as a lechi, then fine, but you've got to expressly dedicate it as such. Arba amas, the arba amas have a shir kaisel mavi, v'leka hakeira klal do lechi. Aval ad arba amas nuchel lechashol lechi v'usamchol mer Shabbos v'chanal. But as long as you designate it as a lechi, even if it's bigger than 4 amas, that would suffice. Afilu rachim arba amas, that's what the Ramos says here, and that's what the Mishnah Berurah is adding. Even if it's more than 4 amas. There's no difference to any other lechi, because you've got a wide opening, and fine, you want to have a big lechi, so be it. Okay, let's just do one more sif. Yud Gimel. Lechi hamoishech im dofnei shel mavui v'hashemit chudei kneged ovi hakaisel t'shavim b'fnim v'nira k'bechutz. Okay, so let's just do the Mishnah Berurah. Hamoishech im dofnei l'orech hamavui. You've got a lechi which is continuing the wall of the mavui. Shemid chudei kneged ovi hakaisel, and you place it on the edge of that wall. T'shavim b'fnim v'nira b'chutz. from the inside is not visible because it's just a continuation of that wall, but it is visible from the outside. Because it's not covering all the thickness of the wall, and therefore it's visible. If it's less than 4 amas, it's considered the lechi. And you've got to only carry up to the beginning of that lechi from the inner edge. Let's just do the Mishnah Berurah till there. To the length of the mavui. It's thinner than it. And it's going behind the mavui. The Mishnah Berurah. You're allowed to carry in the whole mavui ad chudei hapnim until the inner edge. Even though normally we can say that you are allowed to carry up to and including the edge of the lechi, i.e., in between the lechi you can carry. Because there isn't a wall neged the lechi. Okay, so. Okay, fine. Now we'll see pictures in a second. Let's carry on the mechaba. Just one line more of the mechaba. Arba amas nidin mishum mavui. If it's 4 amas, that's considered a mavui. V'osa lishtamish b'chol mavui shari ein kan lechi. So take a look at the Mishnah Berurah. He'll explain it with the pictures. Arba amas nidin mishum mavui. So take a look at the picture number 40. That's what we're describing over here. You've got a lechi, that piece of wood which is on the outside of the mavui, and it's shavim mebifnim. But it's and therefore from the inside it's not so visible, but it's visible from the outside. The kiven to arba amas, since it's 4 amas, shehu ba'alma shir Orach mavui, yotzim miteres lechi v'nechshav l'kos mavui. It's just considered a wall of that mavui. V'chein mavui she'asel Orach mavui lefnim l'chayim katanim harba. You've got the same issue if you've got little planks of a mavui. Now that's picture number 41. Can you see the lechayim there? You've got those thin things within 3 tvachim of each other, and that's your daladamas, but they're within 3 tvachim of each other. From the inside of the edge of the mavui. Says the Mishnah Berurah, the mavui is not permitted with this. The kiven sheim bepachas mishleisha tvachim zeh mezeh chashuvim kulam lechi echad shemachzik arba amas berachbay. Or it's treated as one plank of 4 amas. V'yotzim miteres lechi v'nechshav kakeisel ve'ein lechim lemavuzeh. And therefore it's just treated as the wall of the mavui, and this mavui is therefore without a lechi. Umikol makom. If the first of those little planks are, they butt out a little bit, so if it's visible and it's just a bit protruding or something, then it could count as a lechi. And you're not able to use that area, because even if it's done l'shem lechi, you're not allowed to use that area. In this situation, in picture number 40, you can't use the area opposite the lechi because you can only carry up to the edge of the mavui, which is the beginning of the lechi. It's as if it's a very thin lechi, and therefore you can only carry up to the edge of the mavui and not beyond. Say that. Okay, we'll leave it there.